The 300 Winchester Magnum, arguably the best do-it-all cartridge for North American game, extremely versatile. And in this video, I want to talk about using the best powders to get the most accuracy and velocity out of your 300 Winchester Magnum. And guys, when we're using bullets 180 grain and lower, these powders are not it. If you were to ask me what three powders 300 Win Mag owners use probably the most and what everyone raves about, it's got to be these three: H4831SC, 7828 SSC, and H1000. In heavier bullets, yeah, there is definitely a use for these in 300 Win Mag. But I'm just telling you right now, 180 grain and below, this is not good. So let's just get this out of the way. Why is a 300 Win Mag with a 180 grain or a 165 or a 150 grain, why are these powders not good, right? I mean, everyone uses them. Why can't they shoot well? Well, I'm not saying you can't get good accuracy or velocity, but more than not, these powders will not get you the best accuracy that you can get. And they certainly won't get you the fastest velocities because they're too slow burning of a powder. That is especially the case with H1000. About a year and a half ago, I finally got my hands on H1000, and boy was I excited to try it in my 300 Weatherby, which has a bigger case than a 300 Win Mag. And I was shooting the 180 grain AccuBonds, and well, nozzle load data says this was going to get me the fastest velocity, so I was like, heck yeah, let's do H1000. Accuracy was terrible. And it wasn't until a few months ago I learned H1000 is way too slow burning of a powder for 300 Weatherby in a 180 grain, let alone a 300 Winchester Magnum. Now there will be use for the H1000 in 300 Win Mag. I will show you later. It is a good powder. And the same thing goes with these. Now these are not as slow burning as H1000, but they're just barely too slow for a 300 Win Mag 180, 175 grain bullet. For those guys that want a little flatter trajectory, want a little bit more velocity, let's say you decide to run a lighter bullet in your 300 Win Mag, 168 grain. This is a great bullet for 300 Win Mag. You know, you could get 32, maybe 3,300 feet per second, depending on your barrel length and the right powder you're using. So really good option. The point I want to make is you will get better accuracy and better velocity using H4350 in 300 Win Mag than you would H4831SC with a 168 grain. All right, guys, we're going to go through this relatively quickly. This is the best powders for 300 Win Mag. So what we're looking for is 100% burn propellant in a 26-inch barrel, by the way. Here are some of the best ones. Reloader 19, if you can get it, it's awesome. 3255 feet per second. This is the case fill percentage. Honestly, with the kind of weird design of the 300 Win Mag, we really shouldn't have to worry about case fill. These are all going to be 90+% easily. And 160 is also a good option. Top velocity 3200 feet per second. H4350, as I said, 3220, 90% case fill. Reloader 17, 3257, 91% case fill. Vihtavuori N55, 3205, 99% case fill. So what is the right burn rate in 300 Win Mag with a 180 grain class bullet like the 175 LRX or the 180 grain laser or this cool Meade bullet that's a bonded high BC bullet that's 180 grain? Well, you do have some options, thankfully. If you are one of the lucky ones that still has Alliant powder, Reloader 19 might be the best powder for 300 Win Mag in a 180 grain bullet. As for the rest of us that don't have access to Reloader 19 and 160, yeah, you're not going to get the best velocity, but still almost 3,100 feet per second with 100% case fill. And 555, about the same velocity, not as much case fill. Reloader 19, now we're talking 3,140. Reloader 22. Now these have asterisks next to them because, well, you you're not going to get 100% burn rate, like 63,000 PSI and under. So Reloader 22 and N560, you need to push them a little hard to get 100% burn rate. And you're also a little compressed, but that's just kind of a given with 300 Win Mag, so it is what it is. Look at the velocity you get out of N560. Really good. How about for you guys that are kind of wanting to shoot heavier bullets, higher BC bullets in 300 Winchester Magnum, whether it's a 200 grain, there's a lot of good 200 grain options. If you're feeling really gutsy or lucky, maybe you load the 210 grain AccuBond long range, and look, if you can get that to shoot, congratulations, you worked your butt off, or you're extremely lucky. So here are the powders that work 200 grain to 210 grain. I'm not sure why I'm even showing you Reloader 22. Most people can't even get this powder, but if you have it, it's a really good option. H4831SC. If I could only pick one Hodgdon powder for Magnums, it's this guy. It just works. It shoots well. IMR 7828 SSC, another really good option, especially for a 210 grain. And of course, N560. I think N560 really finds its home with a 200 grain bullet and 300 Win Mag. All right, here we go. 200 grain bullets. I think probably maybe the best powder for a 200 grain in 300 Win Mag is N560, 3,015 feet per second. Reloader 22, you are suffering a little bit on velocity. It's a little faster burning than N560, 2965. IMR 7828 SSC is also ideal powder for 300 Win Mag, 200 grain, 3,015. H4831SC is pretty good, 3,010 feet per second and a little bit more compressed of a load. So for those that are really into target shooting or just want the heaviest bullet possible, they can shoot in 300 Win Mag. So these are bullets 215 to like 230 grain, depending on your twist rate. Finally, we're getting to the right burn rate powders. N565 is a great option. H1000 is finally a really good option. By the way, N565 and H1000 almost have the exact same burn rate. If you just love ball powder, Stayball HD is finally getting 100% burnt propellant when you're getting into the heaviest bullets in 300 Winchester Magnum. And finally, we're going to not go off of SAMI spec cartridge overall length. I think it would be really stupid to load a 215 Burger at 3.340. So we're going to go at least 3.550. 26-inch barrel again, H1000. This is where you're getting into the sweet spot for H1000. We're getting 2950 feet per second. N565. Very similar to H1000, 2960. And even IMR 7828 SSC is still holding its own with the heavier bullets in 300 Win Mag. It's not that much slower, 2930 and 95% case fill. Same goes for H4831SC. You're getting almost the same velocity as 7828 SSC and a little bit more case fill. And lastly, just for fun, I decided to throw in Reloader 26. And once you get with the bigger calibers with heavy bullets, the magic of Reloader 26, it just isn't there anymore. So it's about the same as H1000.